Hi there, and welcome to this episode of Write With Me at IELTS Juice. As you can see, we're going to prepare for a report, task 1 for the academic module, and here is our rubric. And the rubric says, the chart below shows the number of households in the US by their annual income in 2007, 2011, and 2015. Let's inspect the visual a little bit. It's a bar chart, and on the horizontal line I can see years, only 3 years, 2007, 11, and 15. On the vertical line I can see some numbers, and they are numbers of households in millions. So for example, 25 means 25 million US households. All right. And it says their annual income. So where is this dollar sign? Yes, that's down below. And I see 5 categories. And it starts from below 25 grand, between 25 and 50, between 50 and 75, between 75 and 100, and 100 grand and more. Okay. And we have different shades of gray. You know IELTS, so it's monochromic. So we just basically need to look closely and understand, but it's not that difficult, really. The order of the information in the box matches the order of the bar chart. So from the left-hand side, it's below 25, all the way to the right-hand side, which is the column for 100,000 and more. Okay, now the first question is always this: what is the predominant grammatical sentence or structure for us in this report? There is no future, and yes, we are not talking about we already have been given the time frame, so we know it's in 2007, 11, and 15. So present simple has no room here. More importantly, there is no mention of present. So it's the year 2024 when we upload this YouTube video. So this has no room. All the information provided here goes to a year in the past. So we have 3 years in the past. And since we already know which year and it's very exact, we use past simple. I'm going to put this here as our major time frame. Every time, all my sentences must match this grammatical tense, past simple. All my sentences, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 sentences at the beginning, when we actually refer to the visual, we usually start by saying the visual illustrates or shows. Those are fine, but the rest should comply with past simple tense. And you might say, why aren't we using present perfect? Listen to me very carefully. If we say one sentence in present perfect tense, that means we have the information from the year here, like 2015, all the way to 2024. Do we have that information? No. If one of your sentences, even one, is in present perfect, you will receive a factual mistake, a very bad error for reports. And you will be penalized for that. You will lose marks for task achievement and for your grammatical range and accuracy. So no sentences, I repeat, no sentences should be in present perfect. So let's say goodbye to this one. All right, now that we know what we are going to do, let's start by our very first sentence. We need to introduce what type of visual we're looking at. I know, you're smart. You already guessed what it is. It's a bar chart. And then let's see what it shows. Well, it shows the number of US households in millions. Very good. What are the focal points? Where and what time? So we have both bits of information. Where, we know it's only focused on US households. And second, it is only limited to 3 years, 2007, 2011, and 2015. We need to reflect those bits of information in our first sentence. We need to say this is a bar chart. It shows the number of households living in the US in these 3 years. Make sure that your words are different from the rubric. Now we can get serious. We need another sentence here, and that is an overview. An overview is a sentence that will give us a general information. The general information is something like when I look at these bar charts or when I look at a visual, that bit of information catches my eye. I feel that, oh, look at this. This is the highest one. This is the most significant change. This is the lowest one. This remained constant. These bits of information will help me create an overview. And every time I am thinking of an overview here, I think of two. So I need two overviews here. Let's look at the visual to come up with a strategy and some overviews. Strategy number one. Kasra, let's devote one paragraph to each year. 2007, 2011, 2015, and then we write a conclusion. Does that sound good to you? No. Why not? That strategy would work in other graphs, but not this one. Why? Look at the bar charts. Look how boring they are. Look at the similarities here. You can see the middle one, 15 to 75 grand, remained almost unchanged. Look at the lowest one. The lowest one, which is 75 grand to just below 100, was always the lowest. You see, I can talk about between 25, less than 25, and the other, and the one next to it, 25 until 50. Those two remained relatively similar in comparison to each other. The only interesting one that changed in a meaningful way was 100,000 annual income group that was the highest in 2007, was the highest in 2015, but was almost the third in 2011. That was quite significant. That can be one interesting overview. And because of that, I am going to pick one as this overview. So my very first overview is going to be focusing on the 100,000 and more group, the one on the far right. And I'm going to say the exact sentence that in 2 years it was the highest, and it was only in 2011 that it became the third. So what about the last one? What about the other overview? Okay. This one was the one with the most meaningful change. And I'm going to use this as the one that had no change. That makes sense, right? The highest and the most meaningful amount of change, the lowest, which was pretty much actually no change. This one is going to go for the middle one, the group 50 to 75 to just under 75 grand. And I'm going to, in this sentence, I'm going to say that it remained unchanged. What am I going to do next? I'm going to introduce a new paragraph here. Very good. I, of course, need two topic sentences. What are they going to introduce? This paragraph is going to focus on 75,000 to 100 and 100,000 and more groups. The two groups on the right-hand side. This one is going to focus on the boring part, the less than 25,000 and 25,000 to just below 50,000 group. So two groups, this will focus on two bars towards the right-hand side, this one, the two bars towards the left-hand side, and the conclusion is going to focus on the neutral one, on the middle one, the one that was always slightly above 20 million households in the US, and that's it. The number almost didn't change. And we only need one sentence, and we're going to devote that here. And it's an overview. It's a significant thing to mention. This setup will help me analyze the visual in a more meaningful way, and I understand the logic. I'm going to start by the 100,000 and more. This will be 75,000 and 100,000 more, all in one part. Basically, I'm going to add some numbers. Another interesting thing about 75,000 to just below 100,000 is that it almost never exceeded 15 million households in the periods given, in the years given. And the other one, I can say that it exceeded 30, and it was in 2007 and 11 was twice the amount, twice the number of households for 75,000 to 100,000. And in 2015, it was twice and more. So it exceeded 30 million households. It actually basically exceeded 33 million households in the US. That will be my first sentence. And the next sentence, the two boring ones, the most boring thing about them is that of the two, 25,000 to 50,000 was higher, but not significantly higher. And that difference remained pretty much unchanged, which is roughly around 1 million, maybe maximum 2 million. So you can say the difference never changed, and you can add some numbers. And you can say that it goes from what number to what number. Both of them basically increased from 2007 to 2011, but from 2011 to 2015, both of them went down, but not very, we cannot witness any significant changes here. So we can say they didn't change very much. And in general, the number increased for both of them, or the numbers for both of them increased. All right, that's my suggestion. If you wish to see a sample done and improved, please take a look at the video over here. If you want to see other visuals planned like this, or maybe essays, click over here, and remember, eat healthy.